Hello and welcome to episode 34 of the Turner's Digest. My name is Alex, otherwise known as For the Z, and we'll start with a disclaimer. I'm not a financial or tax advisor. This is not financial or tax advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please enjoy. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/Turner's Digest. There's some stuff that was shared this week in this episode that was shared as lightning deals over on the Patreon. That's just for more timely deals that I can't really send out other way. So if you're interested in that and you hear it called out as a lightning deal in this episode, feel free to join over there. It starts as little as $1. You can also use your balance forgiveness waiver on some credit cards if you're interested. You can message me or look back at some episodes. I've discussed that. You can use the search feature on fearthez.com on the companion site where the show notes are posted, and just search for fee waiver or low balance forgiveness, and it should pop up. It's also on Doctor of Credit. There's a referral page if you're interested. The intro music is done by my brother's band, Sweaty Lemon. They're still working on their album, so stay tuned. Shout out to Kung Fewer and Cleed for the Cleed tier on Patreon. Also, welcome Terry as my first Spotify podcast supporter. That's also, I think you're also supporting $1 there. If you're interested in the Patreon, you can join there instead. I don't have a preference. I just can't send out, I don't think I can send out notifications on Patreon supporter or Spotify podcast supporters, but thanks for supporting the show either way. I only have one more housekeeping thing. Frederick, who used my Monzo referral link, I think last episode, that referral paid out for $20, so thank you very much. All right, so first we're going to dive into our first topic, which is on PointsMe. I think I discussed this in last episode, but I didn't mention this, and I just forgot to read it, I guess, that American Express actually offers the PointsMe membership for free, and the link is just amex.point.me. So if you're interested in that and have an American Express card, you can sign up for their free membership, which is nice. There's also was a really good write-up on Miles Earn and Burn. There's a couple things I'm going to quote from Miles Earn and Burn in this episode. If you find them interesting, I mean, I get them every day, and I read them as just like a daily newsletter that they send out. I think they're very useful. I like their write-ups, and that's where I get a lot of my news that I like to share on this podcast. So I kind of just aggregate things I find interesting and put it on the podcast. So if you want it shared from the source, definitely go to milesearnandburn.com or go to one of the links that's shared in the show notes, and you can read up more there. But if you're just interested in an audio version and more of a distilled version of what they post, continue listening. So they also did a really good write-up and gave some alternatives to point.me and explained why it's useful, what they can be used for. And they usually include a pretty funny image at the bottom. They've started including some AI-generated ones, and this one is comparing American Express tools to help with word searching, present and future. Both of them are toys, but one of them is like a toy hammer, and one of them is a toy drill, so it's pretty apt. Next, there were some changes announced to Bilt. Bilt removed American Airlines as their partners. It's going to be ending in June, which is pretty sad for those people that valued American Airlines, but they are including Alaska Airlines. So some people will be happy, some people will be sad. Also, a member of our churning said that they spoke with a friend who works at Bilt and unofficially shared with him that Hyatt may be gone in the next 6 months as well for their partners, as Bilt is aggressively negotiating that deal, and they're exploring capping rental points to 3,000 or 5,000 points per month. And they're getting a lot of pressure because they're trying to IPO. And I totally get that. And I did apply for this card and wound up getting denied. So, I mean, I wish I just didn't waste the hard pull and did get approved. But I guess it's not as big as a pain anymore. I'm not sure how much. I think you get 1 cent per point on your rent. So if you're paying more than $3,000 or $5,000 per rent, I guess you're hurting Bilt pretty hard. And that's kind of crazy that you're paying that much for rent, but those are some awesome points that you're earning there. So that would suck if this avenue went away. Next, I was reading through our credit cards, and someone alleged that they was approved for a Chase card at 624, and normally this is just someone's incorrect and they're just miscounting or something, but it seems like this person might actually be over 524 unless they're just lying or didn't apply for a card that they think that they did, because what they're reporting is the cards that they opened seem to line up accurately, and they would be over 524 would get approved. So I figured I'd just share that. Not really, it's kind of a nothing burger, but I always find it interesting to read stuff like that. Next, hat tip to Dude Kids. I think this was in a cashback server that I'm in, but they shared that Onyx was shutting down, and I couldn't get a link to Onyx's like official blog post about it, but in the email they stated, "We trust this email finds you well, so we're writing to inform you that of our decision to discontinue our services and initiate the closure of all associated accounts starting today. We extend our serious apologies for any inconvenience this decision may entail." I know a lot of people use this account for their debit cashback, so I mean, I don't think there were many organic actual users of this account. Most people just gaming the system and getting some additional cash back for purchases that you probably shouldn't be getting cash back for. But it's always sad to see something like this happen, just accounts being, or fintechs closing down. There's another one that we discussed last week of Oxygen also shut down recently, and we have an update coming up here for them, as well as M1 also has an update. So I know that there was a pretty huge boom of these fintechs during like COVID times, and now it looks like the venture capital funds are starting to dry up as they see just giving cash back for random things doesn't seem to be that lucrative. And we'll also have an update on a Saga that I thought was shut down, so stay tuned for that. But in terms of Onyx, the co-founder says that they are moving away from the business-to-business model, but said that it was changing its business model, not shutting down. So we'll see what comes of them. I don't see any updates on their site just yet claiming these changes are coming, but I guess we'll see. Next, quarter 2 is upon us, and it's time to activate all of your quarter 2 category cards. The most interesting of which, I believe, is Chase Freedom. So Chase Freedom Flex are still both available. I believe you can still product change to the Chase Freedom, which is a Visa, which doesn't have the advanced benefits of the Freedom Flex, like blanket 3% on restaurants and drugstores. And that's a MasterCard. But you can still get the Chase Freedom Visa. I believe if you try and product change to, I think they call it the Chase Freedom with unlimited ultimate rewards. I had a difficult time getting that card when I tried to product change, but some people have reported that working. What's interesting for this quarter is that Chase, for the first time, I think since like 2013 or 2023 or 2022, it's been a couple of years, but this quarter is restaurants. And the reason why this is interesting, well, it's restaurants, hotels, Amazon, and Whole Foods. And Dr. Credit has verified with Chase that the Amazon and Whole Foods category, I think it just lists Amazon Whole Foods, which makes it sound like it's one thing, but it's actually Amazon and Whole Foods both get 5x back. And what's interesting with that is if you still have your sign-up bonus, which was, I think, an extra 5x on groceries for the first year, this is now 9x because the base point of 1 doesn't get doubled, but the quarter multiplier of 4x does for groceries, and then your sign-up bonus of 4x additional also applies. So this quarter would be great for you if you have that sign-up bonus. But also, the hotels category, if you book through Chase Travel, you'll get 1x base point, 4x Chase Travel bonus for booking through the portal, and 4x for your category bonus. So that would be 9x for next quarter. In addition to that, restaurants, if you have the Chase Freedom Flex, that card always earns 3x on restaurants, so you'll actually earn 7x for next quarter. So you'll get 1 base point, 2 flex bonus for the 3x, but you don't get the base, and then 4x for the category. So that's really lucrative. I'm going to do some digging right now. There's someone who has shared in the past a spreadsheet that they keep tracking of all of Chase's categories for their quarterly bonuses. Let me see if I can dig that up. Wow, that took way longer than expected, probably 20 minutes of searching. But the user, Happy P2, has been keeping a count of Chase's quarterly categories since Q1 of 2014. The last time Chase's had restaurants was Q3 of 2017. So this is honestly huge for Chase. They've done this 4 times in the past. Now it's 5 times, including this one. huge kudos to Happy P2 for keeping track of this. I don't know what I would do without them. All right. I honestly forgot where I was. Let's move along here. Actually, no, I don't think I read all the categories. Okay, that was Chase. Restaurants, 7X, hotels, potential 9X, Amazon, potential, or Whole Foods, potential 9X, Discover's gas, home, transit. I'll probably use transit. City dividend, man, I wish that I had that card. Is groceries and drugstores. Groceries is great. U.S. Bank Plus and Elon for selected categories. Those don't change, but just make sure you activate it. Bank of America Customized Cash Rewards doesn't change. And then all the nonsense cards. All right. Out of that rabbit hole. Next, Hilton acquires Graduate Hotels. Hilton announces that it will purchase Graduate Hotels from Adventure Journey Capital Partners for $210 million in all-cash deal. They'll remain the owner of 35 Graduate Hotels, but will operate under the Hilton brand. Deal is expected to close Q2 2024. Properties will be bookable in Hilton later in 2024. They currently operate 33 hotels, which doesn't make any sense because they're going to remain the owner of 35 hotels, but they own 33. I don't know. Just thought I'd share. Doesn't matter to me, but maybe some of you care. All right, next. I was reading through a post on our credit cards. The title was, at what point does it make sense to actually start optimizing for specific cashback categories rather than the flat 2%? And user Red Ceramic Fry Pan synopsized my mentality for credit cards pretty well. I'll just read them verbatim. Your dad is you're basically correct, insofar as it is 100% valid for him to say, I don't enjoy credit card optimization, 2% across the board is good enough for me. For most of us who like to tinker with optimizing credit card setups, the marginal gains are pretty small. If you have something else you'd rather be doing, or you don't enjoy the credit card game, sticking with 2% card is really just fine. Now, if you enjoy it, like I assume most users here do, then it is a fun activity that engages your system's brain and saves you some money. And that's great, but it isn't for everyone, and that's okay, which is exactly what I feel. So if I look at my 2023 spend analysis, I spent a total of, honestly, this number has been staggering me, the amount of money that I spent last year, about $80,000. If I were to, in cash back, excluding sign-up bonuses, I earned $3,500. If I just did 2% of 80,000, I'm going to do math, do it in a calculator because I'm really lazy, times 0.02 would be 1,600. So I virtually more than doubled my cashback. I have a blended cashback of 4.42%. And just 2%, I'd be missing out on about $1,800. So I enjoy the game, just like this user expressed, and I reap the rewards of the cash back in addition to the sign-up bonuses. Without doing sign-up bonuses and just doing a 2% card, I would have earned minus 3,500. Let's negate that and then add 1,800. I would have missed out on $3,700 just on credit card sign-up bonuses and credit card cash back, and that's excluding churning like bank accounts. So that's why I do it. And because it gives content for the podcast. Why not? Content brain. All right, next, another Miles Earn and Burn post. They shared about a Uber line of credit. You can, particularly in relation to the American Express Gold and Platinum, where you get a month of Uber credits. I'm not going to read this because I'd rather direct traffic over there. But they discussed a way where you can use your Uber credits ahead of time. I don't have an American Express card, so this doesn't apply to me, but I thought this was really interesting. I always find it cool the way people optimize and like get around systems. And I think that that's also part of the reason why I enjoy the game of sign-up bonuses is like playing by the rules, but also getting an edge on the house, if you will. All right, next, hat tip to Discord user Wardanch. They shared a screenshot from an email from M1, which was also reported by Doctor of Credit, that M1 is ending their M1 Plus membership program and is introducing a $3 monthly fee for accounts under $10,000, and also don't have a alone with them. So the email reads, "We've decided to end our M1 Plus membership program. Our premium features will no longer require membership and will instead be available to everyone who builds and manages their wealth on M1. Starting May 15th, a $3 monthly fee will apply to clients with less than $10,000 in M1 assets or without an active personal loan. Each billing cycle will last 30 days, meeting platform requirements. At least one day during each cycle will ensure this fee is waived for you, based on your current M1 status, and they tell you if you're going to get the fee or not." I never really used M1. I think I opened an account a while ago, maybe for a bonus, but I don't think I have it anymore, at least I hope I don't. But if y'all use it, that's kind of sad. I know they did offer a credit card at one point, but I think that was discontinued, so not much else there. All right. Doctor of Credit shares... Why do I not have this link opened? Here it is. Doctor of Credit reported that there is a potential quadruple dip for HBO Max subscription. Unfortunately, I would have done this, but my HBO Max subscription doesn't end until June, and this will expire, I think, like April 9th. So unfortunately, I won't be able to take advantage of it. But essentially, right now they're doing a deal for their versions, whether it's ad-free, the ad version, or the ultimate version. The ad version is $70, the ad-free version is $105, and the ultimate ad-free is $140. And those are for a year subscription, and those are already at a discounted rate. And then on top of that, Chase is offering a spend $99 or more and get $25 or $35 back with your Chase card, depending on what card you have. There's also shopping portals that you can use. Rakuten is paying $20. And you can also potentially stack a Sam's Club 15% off, but a lot of people are saying that this has not worked. So overall, you can get $25 to $35 off, $15 to $20 off on Rakuten, and $15 to $19 from the Sam's Club deal. So if you value HBO Max, you can get a decent deal on it. Next, for my New Jersey residents, there is a Columbia Bank bonus back again at $400. I did this back when the bonus was at $150, so that was 4 years ago at this point, almost, well, 3.5. And back then, Amazon debit card reloads did work, so that's nice, but the bonus does require a $300 direct deposit, $300 for direct depositing at least $1,000 within 60 days, and another $100 for 10 debit card transactions within 60 days. And they explicitly say that there's no churning for this. So in the terms, it says, if you have ever received a new account opening bonus of any type in connection with opening a checking or savings account, you are not eligible for either of the cash bonuses, even if you open a new checking account. So unfortunately, I can't go for this, but if you're in New Jersey, it was a pretty great bonus, especially at $400, so definitely go for it. Next, again, I don't want to steal from Miles Earn and Burn, so I'm not going to read the full details here, but in their Monday, March 18th update, they shared about the Sears Shop Your Way Madness. There's a whole bunch of offers going on for that card. So for those who are unaware, that is a partnership between Citi and Sears, where essentially they just want you to spend a whole buttload of money on the card. I don't really know how it works. Like maybe there's some kind of partnership that's for marketing budget for Sears, and just getting the Sears name out there is making it in people's minds. But there's things like spend $750 in one purchase and get 7,500 points. Spend $1,000 in a month or spend $1,000 or more in online purchases and get 250,000 bonus points. So this card isn't great for sign-up bonuses, but they're crazy targeted bonuses that they give out pretty frequently. Every offer lasts about 6 months or so, and offers start on the first of the month, and the next are sent on the 15th. So if you're a pretty heavy spender and are looking for a card that just has some pretty awesome bonuses like all the time, the Citi Shop Your Way Rewards MasterCard is a great option. Next, Terry in the Daily Churns podcast Discord corrected me about my last episode. I was talking about the Barclays sign-up bonus, and I quoted 120 days for the holding period, but it's150 days, so it's 4 months, not 3 months. So it makes the bonus even worse. But it doesn't really affect anything. I just wanted to correct it. Thanks, Terry, for calling that out. Next, there's a $500 SoFi bonus. So Swagbucks is offering Swagbucks and Rakuten. I'm calling this out because it's Rakuten, not Swagbucks, and Swagbucks kind of sucks, but Rakuten's good. They're offering $200 plus $300 directly from SoFi. $300 from SoFi requires $5,000 in direct deposit or more in 25 days. Definitely talked about this bonus recently, but in terms of what counts as a direct deposit, it's looking like Ally stopped working. I definitely synopsized this recently. Wells Fargo stopped working. Maybe PNC, if you have a PNC account. Not seeing much there. So if you don't have a real direct deposit, you might be SOL on this one. All right, next, there was a Lightning deal that's now expired. Top Cashback did their $2.50 off when you spend $15. I just, again, bought Google Play gift cards. No, I'm not getting scammed. I just have YouTube Premium and subscription for Relay for Reddit. So it gets me, I think it works out to like 80% of total price or 85% of the total price. So it's better than what I can really get elsewhere for the subscription, and I'm going to pay for it anyway. All right, to my shock, and I'm sure to maybe some people's chagrin that don't want to hear me talk about the Bank of Omaha anymore, but I received a message from Cleed yesterday that he received a letter from the Bank of Omaha as a refund for an annual fee. And then I had another user reach out. I forget what their name is. It was Warhawk. They also reached out and shared that they also got a refund. And I'm like, what's going on? And then lo and behold, I checked my USPS informed delivery, and I have a letter from the Bank of Omaha coming, and I will read you verbatim what it says. Dear Nesswell customer, I will note that the envelope was hand stamped. Like, definitely someone put a stamp on this. So some poor soul, again, at the Bank of Omaha has to deal with all these Nesswell accounts. But the letter, again, not signed by anybody, says, Dear Nesswell customer, as you are aware, the Bank of Missouri, I keep saying Bank of Omaha, Bank of Missouri. As you're aware, the Bank of Missouri, TBOM, as issuer of your Nesswell account, has taken over servicing of your Nesswell credit card program. Encloses a check for a prorated refund of the annual membership fee based on how long you've had the Ness card. We encourage you to negotiate this check within 90 days upon receipt. Please contact us at 888-587-WELL or at nessinfo@bankofmissouri.com if you need further assistance. The Bank of Missouri. So I personally received $153.94 in a check, which is awesome. A, because they denied my $200 refund for my rewards, and B, because I'm 99% sure that I already received a refund for my annual fee. I remember when, let me see if I can pull up the email. Yeah, so here's the email, and they give a little more information in this email, but I don't think the Bank of Missouri either honored that or didn't want to calculate or doesn't have information, and I'll get into that in a little bit here. But in the email dated November 15th from the CEO of Ness, it states, and finally, we're going to reimburse part of your annual fee based on how long you've been a member and how much of the available benefits you've used as of October 31st, 2023. For example, if you have used your Ness card for 6 months and have used the $200 Healthy Spend credit and the $15 Sweet Green credit, you'll receive a $67 refund. We'll apply that to your outstanding balance. If you do not have an outstanding balance, you'll receive a check in the mail. So they did honor that you were receiving a check in the mail, but from my calculations, and I'll go into here, the Bank of Missouri didn't take into account the credits that I received, because I definitely used all my Healthy Spend credit, and I received at least 2 Jones Road, like $15, or maybe 2 or 3 $15 credits. You could have made a purchase at Jones Road for any amount, and they'll give you $15 back. I purchased like chapstick for like $20 with shipping. But I since the Nesswell accounts have been closed and the app doesn't work anymore, I have no way of seeing what they refunded me. I think I remember it being something around like less than 100 for sure. But now I'm receiving an extra $153.94 from the Bank of Missouri. So I was curious, especially with their verbiage of we encourage you to negotiate this check within 90 days of receipt. I wonder if, let me see something. I had a feeling. So negotiate just means to use the check, like to endorse it. So they're saying please cash it within 90 days. But going into how they calculated this $153.94, if you use the card, you know that the annual fee was $349. I opened my account looking at my spreadsheet on April 24th of 2023. I did receive an email 2 days after that called finish setting up your account to receive your Nest card. So if you have a difficult time finding your email or finding your date that you open the account, you can try that. You can also see, I think that they did a hard pull for it, so you could also check your credit report. But I then paid the $349 annual fee. I received communication from Nest that, like I stated before, on November 15th, that as of that date, my card would no longer work on 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But through my correspondence with the CFPB and FDIC, they've quoted November 14th as a close date, so I used that date. Also, when I was doing these calculations, I'm subtracting the 2 dates, so I took November 14th, 2023 minus April 24th, 2023. I'm not including November 14th, 2023 as a date that was the card being used. So to get this, I'm calculating how many days of a year I did not hold the card, but I paid for a full year. So 204 days were elapsed from November 14th and to April 24th. Subtracting that is 204 days elapsed. The card was terminated 161 days early. So 161 days of the year that I paid for a full year, I did not use the card. That is 44.11% of a full year. 44.11% of $349, which is the annual fee, is $153.9435. 0.9435. And that's exactly what they refunded me. So this is definitely the formula. So if you're curious, I put a formula sort of in like mathematical numbers. So days used equals the date the card was closed minus the date you opened it. And then days to be refunded is 365 minus the days you used it. And then the amount to be refunded is the days refunded divided by 365 times the annual fee. And that's how you come up with your number. I did receive communication from 2 members. I won't say who because I don't want Bank of Missouri to go after them, and I didn't ask them if I can specify who. But 2 members told me that there was a feature with Nest called Nest One, where if you're a full-price Nest member, which I was, you can refer someone, and they can sign up with an annual fee of just $99. 2 people that used that sign up for Nest One told me that they received a refund of around $200. So the Bank of Missouri did not take into account these people that didn't pay full price and refunded them as if they paid $349, which I think is really funny. Definitely cash those checks now. But I think that's it for the Bank of Missouri. Finally, I will be cashing this check happily. I believe they've now paid me for the annual fee way more than I actually paid, and not more than I've actually paid, but at least more than my rewards were worth. And looking at the check, I don't think it was actually signed. I always find it curious to see if things were hand-touched or if a computer just printed it out, and I don't think this was signed. Oh, maybe. I really can't tell. I'm going to say it was signed. I think this was hand-signed by, I can't even read what this name is. Ushley Henson? Poor Ushley. All right, that's enough for Nestwell. I don't think we'll ever have an update on them again. And there's not much left here. Next, KeyBank is back with their $200 bonus. So I think I've highlighted this in the past, but they have a $200 checking bonus when you make a single direct deposit of $500 or more within 60 days. This has a 12-month cooldown language, and I think I'm eligible for this, so I might sign up for it. I have a bad habit of writing it in my show notes and talking about it on the podcast, and then because I talked about it, in my head, I'm like, oh, I did the sign-up bonus, but all I did was talk about it on the show. So maybe I'll remember. And then second to last, This was a lightning deal, but it actually ends today, so you still have some time if you're not a Patreon subscriber. Uber's doing 10% off gift cards at Newegg. You can do up to 10, and Best Buy, I think you can do up to 2. Do note that Newegg, for some people on, I think, Chase, American Express, and Citi have some extra like Chase offers and some click-through bonuses. I will note that I was looking at shopping portals, and like Top Cash Back is 4%, but they exclude gift card purchases, so I didn't try it. And then Best Buy, there's some people are seeing Chase offers for Best Buy as well, so check to see if you have that. And then also Flues apparently has had 10% off of this for like a week now. I personally purchased one $100 gift card for $90, and then I used my Bank of America customized cash card with online shopping, with honors or platinum status with Bank of America to boost my cash back to 4.5% on the purchase, which gets me about 14% off of the total purchase. And I could always use Uber gift cards, so I went ahead and purchased that. And then finally, I requested my checks report from Checks. And for some reason, they won't let me request it online. I had to request, I requested online, I had to call in. So you can like request it online to get a digital copy, and for some reason, they're telling me that my information I entered is invalid. So I had to call, and I had to manually speak my full first name, my full last name. I had to manually speak to an automated system my full address, which was super annoying to get the system to pick it up. And you can't like type in your address street name. So I had to sit there and pronounce it and hope the system got it. And it finally did. And I received my checks report. And maybe I'll like make a blog post of which banks reported the checks. I mean, my checks report, let me check. My checks report, I have it in front of me, is 17 pages long. And I know somewhere in here they have like your score, but I don't think I was able to find it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, no, I don't have my check score in here for some reason, but it's actually not 17 pages. There's like a bunch of additional stuff tacked on the back here. It's actually 9 pages that actually have check impacts, because I think it only stays in your report for like 2 years, because I'm only seeing back to March of 2022, which was Pentucket Bank in Massachusetts. I remember that. I physically went into the store to open that one up. I think it was like a $200 bonus. But that's it for today. Thanks for listening as always, and hope you have a great week. Thanks all.